Hello, guys. Joker the Fool here, back at it again with another episode of the Braxcast. This is the 91st episode of the Braxcast, and we got a good bit to talk about. So, not only am I going to be showing off some Norfrica and Horseman #2 books, but we're going to get into the big news of the week, and this is the announcement of Rippaworks. So, of course, Eric July did put out a poll, and there was animation, comics, not animation, video games, tabletop games, and then statues and toys, and animation was the thing that won. That's what people want the most from a Rippaworks as a crowd-funded source or a crowd-funded effort to fund specific projects. So animation is the first Rippaworks project. So this is a crowd-funding project. This isn't like the comics that were made beforehand and you're just using the collection, first the campaign and then the collection format as a way to get pre-orders and make sure you don't overprint that much. But we do have the first, like I said, announcement of crowdfunding for Rippaverse, and it's actually launched and live. There's about $8,600 made so far. The minimum goal for this to happen is $50,000, and the $50,000 gets 10 clips of Isom, Yaira, and Bloodroof, and $100,000 is a trailer based on Rippazine 6 and a new series that will be announced alongside with it that I believe is by Eric July and Kanan White, which is really, really exciting. So these are the support tiers. I can zoom in a little bit and see if you guys can see them, but if not, I will read them out. So you've got the $5 and $10 tiers are just basically special thanks, and you get your names in the credit. You got a Patreon for $25, and you get some exclusive live streams. $50 gets you 12 hours early access to the trailer and a backer exclusive live stream. $100 is where you start getting physical stuff with an exclusive Dokuma card, an exclusive comic book based on the trailer by Eric July, and then $250 is a CGC of that. $500 you get the special Discord badge and a CGC, a signature exclusive poster. $1,000 is a randomized sketch print from Rippaverse artists such as Kanan White. Then $5,000 is you getting canonized within the animated Rippaverse or animated in the upcoming trailer. And then if there is a Rippaverse animated universe, then you would be canonized in that as well. But these are the stretch goals. So $50,000 is the minimum. $100,000 is, I suppose, the first stretch goal. And then the rest of these are pretty simple. So you've got $150,000 unlocks an additional fully animated trailer, bringing the total to 2 major animation pieces. $250,000 is that all Vanguard tier and higher backers receive an exclusive Rippaworks founder hat commemorating their support. $300,000 is a production of a 5 to 6 minute pilot episode of The Horseman, which is something that was promised for, I believe, 5,000 episode or 5,000 members of the Rippaverse membership. $500,000 is a production of a 5 to 6 minute pilot episode of Isom, the flagship character of the Rippaverse universe. $1 million is the full launch of the Rippaverse animated universe, a commitment to producing at least 3 additional animated shorts to establish a connected animated continuity. And of course, that is the really exciting thing. I hope that's something that happens. I'm a little bit skeptical with how this is launching, and this is not being a 75-day window. And I think like the hype of like everyone throwing their money behind one project is not necessarily there. And of course, like with it being crowdfunding, people are a little bit like hesitant to just give the money and have to wait to get stuff. Even with something like Rippaverse, where you've got a lot of goodwill that's been built up because they deliver and fulfill very consistently. I'm not sure if people, when they say they want animation, they want it like this. And of course, I think a lot of people aren't necessarily in a position right now of how the economy is and the fact that money is going towards other things with the holiday spending. But anyways, the last milestone is the 4,000 backers unlocks a making of documentary chronicling the campaign, production, and the creative process. So that is Rippaworks. So of course, probably be backing the $100, the Vanguard tier at some point. Got about 34 days since I am filming this on the 6th of December 2025. So it'll end somewhere around the second week of January. So of course, there is plenty of time. And last time I checked, it's made about $8,600 with about 37-ish supporters so far. Imagine that numbers are going to increase. Will we get to 1 million? I'm not sure. You'd have to make about $28,000 a day. In the first day, it's a little bit under that, but it could have a big boost. around Christmas time when people get Christmas money. It could have a little bit of boost like later in the month when people have done all of their holiday shopping and they've got a little bit of room in the budget to throw at this. Certainly going to be me at some point, God willing. Like I said, I definitely want to get in on that $100 tier to get that comic and that Dokemon card because I love collecting the Dokemon cards. But but without further ado, we are going to get into showing off some comics. So, of course, Horseman #2 fulfilled, and I reviewed it. Absolutely fantastic book. This, I believe, is the A cover right here. Absolutely fantastic shot of the Horseman. Really indicative or really reminiscent of like one of the first drawings we saw of the Horseman when we was announced at MegaCon in 2024. Of course, we've got the B cover. This is the cover that I used to review. So this is my review copy, or my reading copy, I really ought to say. This is an absolutely fantastic cover. This shows the big X-Sept that he has to defeat in the comics. One of the, I would say, climactic battles that really does him in. Absolutely epic drawing, and I just love all these retro covers. Got to do the retro cover tier list at some point in the future. I know you guys have been hounding me to do more tier lists for covers, but this is, of course, cover C. This character's name is, spoiler alert, Pain. She's a really cool character, has a pretty brief introduction to Horseman #2. Really excited to see where her story goes. And this is, of course, the foiled and embossed cover. Absolutely beautiful cover. Got to love that. And then is, of course, the D cover. This is a shot of Cal Buxton, who, of course, we get a lot about Cal Buxton's character revealed to us in Horseman #2, but I'm not really going to get into that. You can watch the review if you don't mind the spoilers, but I don't want to get too into spoiler territory on a general episode of the Braxcast. And then I do have two signed and graded copies of Horseman. So, of course, Chuck Dixon signing this one. This is a 9.8. This is, of course, the B cover here. And then you've got the back of it there, which is a absolutely beautiful cover. And then you've got the C cover, the foiled embossed cover right here. Like I said, this features the character of Pain. So, absolutely beautiful cover right there. And then I do have Norfrica, so we'll go through all the signed and graded copies of Norfrica. So this is, of course, the A cover. This is got lots of characters first appear in this, but of course you've got this signed by the man himself, Eric July, and this is an absolutely beautiful cover. I think this is a Canaan White cover. I believe this was the first cover that we saw revealed. And like I said, this is an origin story. I've done my review of Norfrica. This is a really cool origin story. So Glorious Steph is really going back to the beginning of these characters. And I think Eric July is going about it in a really cool way. So I'm excited to see just where he takes the story further with this. Now, next, we've got the B cover here. This, I believe, features Bergelmir. This is like one of the Niflheim characters, or Niflheimar, however it's said. So this is a Gabriel Icono cover here. That is being that I'm showing off. This is, of course, the B cover, 9.8. I absolutely do love the back as well, and I gotta just absolutely love that Norfrica logo straight up. And then we've got the C cover right here. Absolutely fantastic. This is, of course, Katarina Kelminyu's cover. This is the foil and embossed cover, and I believe this is, I'd say Freya, but could be, I don't know, I forget the names, so many names. But this is definitely like one of the Norse characters. She's the one that gets talk too much about it because it is going into spoilers, but you can read the book and you can see her role in the story. Even though it's big, but it's a little bit minor, and certainly, Valadon's honestly kind of a side character in this Norfrica story, which is a bit, I don't know, odd to me, but I'm sure he's going to get into his own as he matures, because it starts with him just being a child. But this is Yevgeny Sokolov's cover, an absolutely beautiful cover, another 9.8. I mostly get 9.8s. I, of course, have a few 10s in my collection, but very, very few. But this is an absolutely beautiful cover. And, of course, I do have the Norfrica cassette here. So I did show off the records on live stream yesterday, and I will do that after showing off this cassette. So there's, of course, the Norfrica cassette. I love this orange logo. And then, of course, you just got, I'm not sure if you guys can see it, but it just says side A, side B. And this is like very much a typical, audio cassette in a box. I've seen these before, but I've said this before, I'm a little bit too young to be someone that like really consistently listen to audio cassettes. Most Walkmans are older than I am. But this is a really nice cassette. It did come in shrink wrap like the vinyls that I did. I will get the vinyls right now. So showing off the first vinyl. So this is the basic black one. This is, the basic cover art that you would see on the single. If you bought it or you listen to it on Spotify, like most people usually do. And this is an absolutely epic vinyl. So of course you got that same like orange Norfrica. And I've said this on live stream, and I'll reiterate this again, that holding this, full on, size vinyl, it just really makes you want a Norfrica Glorious Death LP. Not an EP, but you just want like a full, like 45 minutes to an hour album that you can just put on and jam out to when you hold this record in your hands. So I absolutely do love the fact that they did this. But I am, I'd say disappointed, but I'm just like really raring for them to get in the studio, Dan Vask and Eric July, and just make a full on record, full on album. And especially more so with this one. So this is a special golden album. So you got some really epic art on the front here. You've got some pretty epic art on the back as well, saying Glorious Death. And of course, I believe you see you unfold it like that, and you've got like, it shows off like an epic wraparound on the back or for the front. And then you've got a really epic one here on the front when you open it up. And this is where, if this was like an actual album, you get like inserts with like lyrics and stuff like that. And I really hope that they do make an album and they have something like this. This is really high quality stuff, and I absolutely love it. And what's even more high quality to me is the fact that this one is the golden record. I mean, just look how beautiful that is right there. Of course, don't have a record player on me, don't have a cassette player on me, so I can't play these, but I will probably get both of those in the future when the budget allows. So if you guys want me to do like a special episode of the Braxcast again, because I did one for I did one for like just how to and getting to read the Rippaworks. But if you want me to actually play these as its own episode of the Braxcast, it would be a pretty short one. Just to show that off. You guys can say in the comments if you want that. But for now, I'm just showing them off to you guys. Absolutely beautiful stuff. Fantastic work. They came in shrink wrapped, very high quality, the cassette and the vinyls. And I'm sure you can still probably buy at least the regular one, the black one, if I can still show it off to here, you guys. I'm sure this one can still be bought. I'm not sure if it's still available on the store, but if it is, and you just wanted to have it as a collector's item, I would recommend it. Because while people do like to listen to records, you can listen to it on Spotify or online, or just buy the single and download it. It's, most music these days is digital, and it's just where it's at. But, there is, the, physical media does, I think, have its place, and I do certainly enjoy it. But that is all I have for you guys for this episode of the Braxcast. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Joker is out.
Thank you for tuning in to the Braxcast. Be sure to like, comment, follow, and subscribe to keep up with the Rippaverse.